Hi, I'm Dan Clark, Hall of Fame professional speaker with another one of my training sessions. I affectionately refer to this as the 7 kinds of speeches, which is relevant to you and to everybody. You see, regardless if you're just simply trying to become that significant communicator, or you're actually passionate about becoming a highly paid professional speaker, regardless of the situation or the motivation, every single one of us are going to be asked to engage in delivering at least one of these 7 kinds of speeches, probably almost every day of our lives. Let me give you an example. Introductory speeches come in 2 flavors. If you're being asked to speak to a group for either 5 minutes or maybe a 60-minute keynote, obviously someone's going to introduce you to answer the question to the audience, why should I listen to you? It's the credibility piece. Well, obviously we all wear several hats. For me, I'm a son, I'm a father, I'm a man, I'm a husband, I'm an author, I'm a musician, I'm a writer of this, of that, I'm a speaker, I'm an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. When I'm invited to speak, I must hone my message to that specific audience in that specific time frame to deliver a message that is relevant to why they're gathered in the first place. Are you with me? So my introductory speech must be written by me, hand-delivered to the person who's going to introduce me, that answers the specific question or questions required for them to want to listen to me because I'm a subject matter expert. And the second flavor, the formula is the same. When you're asked to introduce someone, you better go to that person, interview him or her to find out what is important to them in that moment, what their message will be, why they're being invited to speak to that group, and then you help them write that introductory speech that's no longer than 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes max, that actually tees them up so that when they're finally asked to take the microphone, people will listen to what they've prepared. The second kind of a speech we call an impromptu speech, which is nothing more than being conversational. You see, we engage it in every day of our lives. We have got to be fascinating to be around. We've got to be compelling to listen to, which means we better start writing a journal, keeping a journal, reading books, listening to jokes, remembering punchlines, traveling, doing anything we can possibly do to make us so interesting to be around that when it comes to impromptu conversation, we can participate knowing something about most subjects so that the conversation doesn't die when it comes to us. The third kind of speech is an extemporaneous speech, which is different than impromptu. You're actually invited to speak, which proves true something that I teach in all of my courses. We need to spend more time preparing ourselves to speak than we do preparing a speech, which means when someone gives us 5 minutes, usually we have enough time to gather our thoughts, put them in order, follow the 8 steps, the 8 elements of creating this amazing or organizing this speech that listeners love that we talk about in my other course trainings, and deliver that extemporaneous, not off the cuff, extemporaneous prepared speech because we are prepared. The fourth kind of speech we call an entertaining speech, and it's usually a luncheon speech or an after-dinner speech. It's no longer than 30 minutes, and it has to be mostly humorous and delivering some sort of a message so that there's an actual reason for us to listen to you and an ROI when we depart. The fifth kind of speech is what we call the 3 special occasion speeches, dissected and divided into a tribute, a toast, and a eulogy. I challenge you to dive into this part of my course study, and as I've promised in other courses, you will have a detailed description of everything that we need to know to prepare ourselves to rise to the occasion whenever we are invited to give and deliver any one of these 7 kinds of speeches. Kind number 6, we call the informative speech. Now you think about it. You do research, but you inform, you don't persuade. It's not about your opinion. You don't focus in on who's right, you focus in on what's right. And the emphasis has to be talking about something that's important to the audience. Remember, seek to bless, not impress. It's about them, not about us. An informative speech basically avoids the opinion, and we focus in on 3 truths. Some things are true whether you believe them or not. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but nobody's entitled to the wrong facts. And you shouldn't believe everything that you think. Again, preparing and delivering a speech that's important to them. And finally, The seventh kind of speech is a persuasive speech, and I leave that as number 7 because I don't believe that we should ever deliver any kind of a speech unless we're persuading someone to become better today than they were yesterday, unless we're persuading someone to take action, to vote, to challenge, to climb, to get in better shape, to do this, to do that. So a persuasive speech versus an informative speech. An informative speech focuses on something that's important to the audience, something that's important to them. A persuasive speech is prepared and focuses on something that's important to us. So as I said, guaranteed, in the course of perhaps every day, we will be engaged. We will be required to engage in one of these 7 kinds of speeches. I challenge you to stay tuned. I challenge you to find this in my other courses. Dive deep as possible to understand the intricate details of how you can become so prepared and so proficient so that whenever you are asked or required to deliver one of these 7 kinds of speeches, you can rise to the occasion.